Welcome back to the final Browns game reaction for the regular season. And honestly, this video probably won't be focused too much of the Week 18 game against Cincinnati, even though Cleveland lost 31-14. This is probably the week where most NFL teams who are headed to the playoffs are going to be very calm and level-headed about a loss because this was a meaningless game. Browns were already locked into the 5 seed. Bengals already eliminated from the postseason. Even the division standings have been decided in the AFC North. So this game not really having much of an impact on anything besides, maybe draft positioning in the future. It confirms something that we already knew about the Browns, though, in my opinion, and that is if Joe Flacco were to go down for any reason for Cleveland in this playoff run, then it is officially Jover for the Browns, where, Jeff Driscoll didn't look a whole lot better than PJ Walker in this one. Maybe it's because Driscoll's only been in the building for like 5 minutes or whatever, hasn't really gotten a whole lot of time to look over the playbook and really know that thing inside and out. Maybe it's because, again, the Browns didn't really play anybody who was worth starting in a playoff game, so the offense was already going to be hampered because of just a lack of key talent available. But honestly, after that performance, I still would not trust Jeff Driscoll to lead the offense in a playoff game, even giving him some benefit of the doubt for this performance. His stat line was saved late in the game in the fourth quarter by a couple of touchdown passes to David Bell. Still looks a little bit rough for him, where he was 13 of 26 for 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The game was 31-0 at one point. I'm just glad the Browns were able to put up points to avoid a goose egg, but beyond that, just kind of an insignificant game in general for Cleveland. This one, the final game of the regular season. The Browns' depth, they looked bad against the Bengals starting lineup. Makes sense even with a Bengals team that might have been a little bit deflated, a little bit of a lack of urgency because they had already been eliminated from the playoffs. But still, the Bengals starters probably should beat the Browns, second and third string guys in a regular season game any day of the week. So now the Browns have another trip to Houston to make, and they'll face a much different Texans team than they did a few weeks ago. I was kind of personally hoping that the Jaguars would get it done over the Titans on Sunday once we found out that, Houston was going to be in the playoffs. No luck there. That Jacksonville loss was annoying for multiple reasons. Number one, I think that would have been an easier team to face than Houston in the wild card round. I wasn't super convinced about Jacksonville heading in, and that was obviously was the correct way to feel with how they kind of wet the bed a little bit against the Titans. And number two, the Jacksonville loss sent the Steelers to the postseason. So Pittsburgh, they continue to run on just pixie dust and voodoo at this point. They keep finding ways to fall just bass-ackwards into the postseason. A little bit annoying to see that the Steelers could even make the 6th seed depending on how this Buffalo-Miami game goes for Sunday Night Football. I will say the Colts game made me both nervous and a bit more comfortable at the same time about the prospect of facing Houston, where I don't think the Colts are all that great. If I had my pick of AFC South teams to play against, I definitely would have chosen Indianapolis, even though I think that the Colts gave the Browns the toughest regular season test out of any of the AFC South teams. But the Texans needing a 4th and 1 drop to really steal that game up late in that one maybe showed a little bit of inexperienced, a little bit perhaps a more seasoned team would have put that game away a little bit sooner, wouldn't have allowed that comeback effort. But on the other hand, I always, something I've said during the AFC North updates is that good teams find ways to win even if they're not necessarily humming at their best, and Houston's game was an example of the Texans doing just that. And they're also, the Texans can use a bit of a revenge mindset as a motivator against Cleveland, with the Browns beating them in the regular season in Houston a few weeks ago when they met up. So with CJ Stroud coming back, they will have a quarterback capable of delivering that revenge. Him and Nico Collins have built themselves into a very, very dangerous connection with the absence of Tank Dell. On the Texans defense, Will Anderson will be back when he wasn't there for the Browns game. Other members of Houston's pass rush and secondary were ailing with injury in that Browns game as well. And look, that's not to say that Cleveland is in grave danger just because Houston is a bit healthier. I don't think the Browns have a chance to win. I still think that the Browns, they might be favored, and honestly, I'm a little biased here, but I still think the Browns fans, that the Browns should be favored to win, and I do have high expectations for this game against Houston for Cleveland, but I do expect the Houston Texans to put up a much tougher fight than they did when they first met up in the regular season. But that's going to do it for me in this video for this Week 18 reaction. I'd like to do another video where I get more into a little bit more depth into this matchup with Houston coming up, but just to get a reaction video for Week 18 out there. The Bengals game, pretty much insignificant. Maybe see what you have in Jeff Driscoll, which isn't much. I mean, it's nice that he had a connection with David Bell, so maybe if Flacco does go down, it's Driscoll the next guy up. Maybe have a lot of packages with David Bell as the receiver in there for him. But other than that, again, this was mostly just kind of a week to just, watch around the NFL and see who was getting in and who the Browns would face up against. And it's going to be the Houston Texans in the wild card round in Houston. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and like to see more like it. You can let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this game, or probably more likely what the Browns could do next week against Houston. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.